Hey everyone. So things are really starting to wind down as far as major moves are concerned in the NHL. It's now quite over a week after the free agency opened. Pretty much everyone signed. The only real moves that we're waiting for at this point, anything major, is where does Pat Maroon sign? Um, when that's expected to be St. Louis, just hasn't been done yet, and the Erik Karlsson trade, which hasn't happened yet. But for the most part, things are starting to wind down. But there is one signing that took place that I think certainly deserves to be talked about, and we'll get to that right after. I just have to say, if you're not yet a subscriber to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. Um, there's something here for everyone. If as long as you like hockey and you like the NHL, then there's videos here for you. So if you're not yet a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. Now, Colin Miller has re-signed with Vegas for 4 years at $3.875 million per year. This is a pretty big deal for Miller, who came to Vegas in the expansion draft after being left unprotected by Boston. Um, Miller he's a bottom pair defenseman for Vegas. He's very good offensively. He's a great skater. He can pass the puck. He has a very heavy shot. He does have some deficiencies in his own zone, but as a bottom pair defenseman, he is a very solid player. And when injuries occur, he can jump up into the second pairing if need be. Now, I like this deal. Miller's still relatively young. 4 years is fine. I think the cap hit is a little bit high for someone like Colin Miller, especially since John Moore signed a 2.75 AAV contract. Almost $4 million is a lot for somebody who's in your bottom pair. And in Vegas, with Brady McNabb, Shea Theodore, Nate Schmidt, and Derek Englund as your top four, Miller is a bottom pair defenseman. He's your fifth or sixth guy. So almost $4 million is kind of a lot for someone with that role in the lineup. But cap hits, whether or not they're too high or not, are always relative to the team's cap situation. And Vegas is a team that is not up against the salary cap right now. They've got money to play with, so they can give Miller a contract like this, whereas another team, maybe a Washington or a Boston or a team like that that's up against the cap and really needs to watch their spending, can't give Miller a contract like this. So I say that almost $4 million is a lot for a bottom pair defenseman, but it doesn't really matter when you're not in cap trouble. You're not up against the cap. So with the amount of cap space Vegas still has, this is a perfectly fine contract for them. So Miller is a very solid player as your 5 or 6 guy. He can bring a lot to the table. He can help on the power play. He's a good puck mover, great skater. This tells me that at this point, I don't think Vegas is banking on getting Erik Karlsson at this point. Now, I'm not comparing Colin Miller to Erik Karlsson at all. Colin Miller is a solid bottom pair NHL defenseman. Erik Karlsson is an elite NHL defenseman. But Miller does bring offense to the table in a similar way as Erik Karlsson, just not nearly as much. And he's not the level of player that Karlsson is. But I don't think that if Vegas was still thought they were going to get Erik Karlsson, that he has 1 year left on his contract, and then he would have to sign a long-term deal in Vegas, probably around $11 million a year like Drew Doughty got. So I don't think they would have given Miller this much money if they thought they were getting Karlsson. I just don't. I think they would have had to have tapered back the cash a little bit, even though they're not up against the cap. If they were to get Erik Karlsson and sign him long term, that would take a huge chunk out of anybody's cap space, never even Vegas's. Like, it would affect their cap space. And Miller is somewhat of a similar player, as in he's a good skater, he moves the puck well, he has a heavy shot, and he has some deficiencies in his own end. And Miller certainly showed that he's had some issues playing behind his own blue line at times. but he brings a lot to the table offensively. He's a puck-moving defenseman. Erik Karlsson is a puck-moving defenseman. I think that this deal is a sign that Vegas is kind of like, you know what, Karlsson's probably not coming here. That doesn't mean that something, you know, can't change in the future or soon. It happens all the time in the NHL where a team looks like they're not getting someone and then they end up getting a deal done. But this is a very good deal for Colin Miller. It's a pretty good deal for Vegas. He's an important part of that team. Defensive depth is obviously very important. And, you know, with now it looks like Karlsson's not going to Vegas, Miller is going to be important to this team for offense from the back end. Because Brayden McNabb is good in his own end but doesn't give you a ton of offense. Derek Englund he is your prototypical defensive defenseman. He doesn't give you a lot of offense. Miller is a guy, much like Shea Theodore and Nate Schmidt, who can give you offense. And it's important this day and age in the NHL to have defensemen that can put points on the board as well as play in their own end. So as a bottom pair defenseman, this is a very good deal. And Miller's going to play an important role on Vegas for years to come. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. Check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links in the description below. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep things growing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.